good, everybody? It's your boy JCG. Welcome back to the lounge. So, Wednesday, June 7th at 7 p.m. I was lucky enough. I had the privilege of getting to see Transformers: Rise of the Beast early, and let's just say that I had a good time. It was a good experience, and the movie it's not great. It's not like blow your socks off amazing, but it's better than it has any right to be. So yeah, let's just talk about it. So let me just start off by telling y'all this. The movie is 2 hours and 7 minutes long. I would say that's a good runtime. I was hoping it would at least be 2 hours long because I wanted as much story in this as possible. It's a pretty fast-paced movie. You know, they don't take too long on certain scenes. They don't they move the pacing of the movie just goes by, and you can feel as if the 2 hours isn't that long because they move on to certain plot points pretty quickly. But what I do like about the film is that despite the pacing, I feel like I at least got to know at least some of these characters, Autobots included. If there's one complaint that audiences have had with live-action Transformers films in the past, is the fact that mainly Michael Bay's movies, they did not give much attention to the Transformers themselves, and I would say that that complaint, that issue has been mostly fixed. They give I would say an equal amount of screen time to both the Transformers and the humans in this film, kind of like what they did with Bumblebee. But yeah, the Autobots are all cool for the most part. Optimus Prime is how you expect, noble leader, brave, badass. Bumblebee is typical Bumblebee. He's still, if you guys haven't remembered, Rise of the Beast is a prequel, and I think it's still lined up with the Michael Bay film. So yeah, Bumblebee lost his real voice back from his spin-off movie from 2018, so he still can't speak. He's only talking through the radio. Mirage is a great character. Mirage is a good addition to the team. Pete Davidson voices him very well. And yeah, he's just fun. Him and the lead star, Noah, played by Anthony Ramos. I'll get to him later. Yeah, they make a great duo. I was not expecting Mirage to be this good. And RC was also finally we got like female Transformers. That's something that Michael Bay has kind of strayed away from for the most part in his films, but I'm glad we actually have it. And Liza Koshy does a pretty decent job voicing RC. But yeah, the Autobots in this film all feel like they're pretty fleshed out, and I'm just glad that, you know, the Transformers roster in the live-action movies is expanding. As for the Maximals, we get a good amount of screen time with them. Not too much, but you know, they still, it's not like they're like only have like 20 seconds in the movie. No, they do still play a pretty major role. They show up in like we see them a little bit in the by the way, there's no spoilers in this review, my friends, so you don't have to worry about me giving away anything major. But we see them at the beginning of the film for like the first 2 to 3 minutes. We see them on like their home planet, and then they actually start the rest of the team from Optimus Primal to, well, actually Air Razor, the bird Air Razor. She shows up in like the first act of the movie, but the rest of the Maximals, Optimus Primal, Cheetor, and Rhinox show up in the second act. And yeah, these characters are all cool too. You know, Optimus Primal is very, very dope. His design is great, even though it's lacking the color from his original Beast Wars design. It's you know, it's still a good, like, the gorilla form looks great, and the Battle form looks really cool too. And all the other Maximals are really fun to see on screen, even though we don't get much development with them. We don't get much much like story time with them, because it's mainly focused on Optimus Primal and Air Razor in terms of their interactions with the Autobots and the humans. And let me just say this, the battle sequences in this movie are freaking amazing. Like, this is, honestly, Michael Bay, when he did his Transformers movies, there were some great action sequences in those, but I would say they definitely amped them up here, because you can actually see what's happening on screen for the most part. Even the first act of the movie, again, no spoilers, but there's like this fight scene that takes place at night. You can see what's going on, because the the lighting is just good in that scene, and the Autobots and even the Terracons, despite them still having like your typical generic grayish color scheme, you can still like see them off. It's not like, thank God that all the Transformers are colored differently. They each have their own like unique individual colors. You can actually see them on the screen, so it's not, you're just not seeing a bunch of stuff flying around. It's you can tell what's happening. And now we move on to the human characters. Now, I will say this. Another complaint that people have said, or at least like most Transformers fans have asked in the past, is that if we could have a live-action Transformers movie where there's like 0 humans and just the Transformers themselves. And I don't think that's possible, guys. I don't think they'll ever do that. But thankfully, the human characters are really good in this film. They are, I would say it's mainly one human character who's really good. But, you still care about them at the end of the day. Anthony Ramos, his character Noah, he was easily, I would say, my favorite in the whole film. He's a caring brother, got a good heart, loves his little bro Chris, and cares for their mama too. Dominique Fishback's Elena, I wouldn't say that she was a great character, because I felt like I hardly got to know much about her. Not that I didn't get to learn anything about her, but we don't, unlike Noah, where we actually see his family, we don't get to see Elena's family at all. Like, it's mentioned in the film, this isn't a spoiler, but it's mentioned in the film that she has or had a dad. But we don't get to see him. There's no flashback of that. We don't really know where she's living, what she's doing aside from her like job at a museum. Yeah, that's just I just wish Elena was built up more. I wish we got to learn more about Elena, because Dominique Fishback played her well, and I felt like there's much more to her story that we don't know. But other than that, the human characters are pretty decent for the most part, and you do end up really caring about them by the end of the film. Now, how's the plot of this movie? Like, how's the overall story? I would say the story is, it's your basic globe-trotting adventure. Like, they're not going around like to different parts of the earth. It's not like that globe-trotting adventure, but we see them in New York, and then they go to Peru to, it's like a MacGuffin chase type of story, because there is like this key that they have to find to keep from the Terracons, to stop them from giving it to Unicron. And yes, if you don't remember, Unicron is like it's mostly like Scourge, who's the big bad of this film, but Unicron's like his master. So, and they're trying to get this key to him. So yeah, our heroes are trying to keep that out of the hands of Unicron. But yeah, it's a basic story. It's something that you've seen before. But you know what? It works, because unlike Michael Bay's films, I know I keep mentioning his movies a lot, but and not that I despise him or any of his films, but unlike Michael Bay's movies, where I felt like some of the plots were just like too overly complicated, or just like it just didn't make much sense, or just poorly thought out by the end. This is a basic, simple story about the Autobots forming an alliance with the humans to make sure that Unicron doesn't devour their planet. And, you know, it works. Like, it's a story that works for this new era of Transformers live action. And honestly, what more could you ask for?
I also want to say that, even though this movie isn't gonna blow away critics by any means, I think we all need to just sit back and appreciate these sorts of films for what they are. Incredibly fun, very entertaining, turn your brain off types of movies. You know, the critic score on this film right now is pretty low, at about a 50%, I believe. But guys, the critics aren't always right. This movie is anything but a 50%. And if we're being fair, it's about a 70. But I say go watch it for yourself and form your own opinion. To me, I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10, which is a solid rating in my book. Not incredible, but worth the watch. Especially on the biggest screen you can find. Yeah, it's just fun, man.
But yeah, guys, those are my overall thoughts of Transformers: Rise of the Beast. Like I said, it was a very fun experience, and you know what? I gotta be real with you. I think the future looks bright for Transformers live action. I really do. Because after the disaster that was Transformers: The Last Night in 2017, you know, this franchise needed a reset. It needed to go back to basics. And that's why I was excited for Bumblebee, from the spinoff from 2018. That was a really good movie. And now we got Rise of the Beast, which is another banger. So that's 2 in a row, baby. Can we make it 3? I hope this movie does well enough to get a new. What is it? This would be like the 8th one. Yeah, the 8th Transformers film in a row. Yeah, I would say that Transformers live action, the future is bright, because they're finally, Paramount, Hasbro are finally realizing that, you know, this is one of their biggest brands, and now that Michael Bay isn't like the main one steering the ship, they can actually bring these characters back to their roots. And yeah, we're able to get some better stories with them. And yeah, just more classic Transformers goodness. And this is coming from someone who isn't really that much of a fan of G1 Transformers, but you know, I will say it's nice to see this brand, to see these characters go back to something more classic and something that's away from the messiness of Bay's films. With all that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna have another video out sometime this weekend talking about Mortal Kombat 1 and the gameplay reveal. And yeah, thank you for coming to my review. Hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, you should, if you have the time this weekend, go out and see Rise of the Beast. It will be worth it. If you're a Transformers fan, this is definitely for you. With that out of the way, though, please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, thanks for coming to the lounge. God bless. I'm out. Deuces.